before we even start rope climbing, I prefer people to chalk up. I'm usually not a huge fan of chalk blocks because I feel like, especially here in Florida, they spread so much white stuff over. It looks like a party over here in the 80s in Miami. But like we have these little baggies. I think they were like full bison bags, and you can refill them or not. But I just prefer those. So I'm just gonna rub them like that. Get some in the webbing. Wipe it off. So the hand is dry, chalked up, fairly clean. The first thing we want to do before we even try the rope climb, we have to pass yes or no kind of check. And so reach out as high as you can on your toes, kick your feet apart, and we kick our feet apart just so that they don't try to do something with the rope, and we just hang. And so if we can hang for 10-15 seconds, we have grip strength enough, we can start to learn how to rope climb. We can't hang for 10-15 seconds yet, then we can't start learning the rope climb because we need to have at least a minimum amount of time we can hang on the rope safely for our feet to get a good hold. Otherwise, we will just slide down and fall. Hang on the pull-up bar, hanging on the rings, and just doing like the rope pulls when we're doing the workouts all the way down, all the way up. But the grip has to be built up first. So if we do pass, then we can hold on to the rope, and we can. I like people to re-chalk every time you do this because it just makes life easier. The first step, we have to figure out if we're a lefty or a righty. I'm a righty, so I'm going to operate here with my left leg. Now, there's a few different climbing techniques. Ultimately, the only things that are important is whether we can climb safely and efficiently. Everything else, it doesn't really matter. It's just technical. It's preferring, color red over color blue, or vice versa. So one of the coaching life hacks I've discovered, kind of through practice, before teaching somebody how to rope climb, just hop up on the rope and show me what you got. And so a lot of times, guys will try to go like and climb legless, and a lot of them can. We still want to teach them the technique with feet. That works. Sometimes you'll see people just kind of go, and like nothing happens. But I'd say about 1 out of 5, in 20% cases, they will jump up, and like something like this will happen. And so that's technique, we don't really coach it, but that's personally like how I climb, and that technique works just fine. And so you will save yourself quite a bit of time by letting people do what they will naturally do, because a lot of times we'll see others doing it, and all of a sudden we can do it very similar without even thinking about it. We just have to be off the ground usually. However, once we actually coaching, the first step we're going to do is, if we're righty, left knee is pulled up, we form like a letter Z, toes are pulled up as well, and we're just going to hang right here, just like that. The toe usually will start slacking, so we just want to keep reminding to pull that toe up. Then the next step I like to do is once we hang, and it's a little exaggerated movement, but it makes us people work on their grip stronger, so by the time the second, third session comes in, of them practicing the rope climb, their grip has strengthened a lot and makes it a lot easier to climb. So once you hang in here, extend that one leg out, touch the heel on the knee, and relax. So that just forces that leg to work in like very wide pattern, not super necessary when we're actually climbing, but at first it helps us so we're just not doing this kind of stuff. And we spend the time on the rope practicing to hang. But we can just go like this, kick out the rope a little bit, put it over the ankle, and then that heel that was free, bring it to the knee, and then we just step down on the rope. Let me turn it over this way, like that. So again, we kind of kick the rope out so there's a little tension. Go, bring the heel into and then step down. We want to be standing feet side by side. We don't want to go with the toe leading, the heel is leading down. As far as stepping through forward, that's another way. It just doesn't really matter. We prefer now to put the heel through the back. But some people will naturally put the foot through, and that's fine as well. I'll show it on some climbing. And so once that's done, all we're really going to do here is hang in that leg in the Z pattern, foot right here, and then step down, and there we are. Usually here like this will happen. But once we start having that S-hook form around the feet, that's all we really want, and that's what we're looking for. Once we start seeing it, even if it's momentarily and it slides through, so it's kind of like this. So we're here, and then it kind of opens up or something. That's pretty good. Once that's done, do that a couple of times. So here, heel down, release. Knee, leg, heel, release. And so 3 times we just get that foot clamp on. And the other technique is if we're doing the same thing, we can step through forward, and this way happens. It's not quite as good. But a lot of people climb that way, and it works pretty well as well. And again, I climb the other way completely. As long as it's fast and safe, it doesn't really matter. But for this technique, we want to make sure that we have some kind of a calf support on the one leg. So if we're right-handed, on the right leg, if we're left-handed, on the left leg. But this will protect either the front of the ankle or the back of it from the rope burn. Because ropes are a bit pain in the ass to clean up if you bleed on them and so forth. So we don't let people open up on that at all. So with the box, what I meant, we can do something like this. But since we're working with grip fatigue, it's not, I hardly ever use this technique. I've done it before just so we can kind of support here and get the legs and get those feet on. And we can stand up from it even, so it's like this. And we can kind of stand up. But because we're working with grip fatigue, it's a bit dicey. So I genuinely not use that technique. I just want to show that it does exist. So now, once we start getting the foot hold, at that point pretty much everybody starts to climb, and it's pretty easy to stand up from there. So once we're here, and it's kind of like we stand up, re-grip, and then we can start doing that same thing with our feet again. And at that point, that's it. We can climb. The next trick here, however, is to learn how to climb down before we go all the way up. At first, climbing down is far harder than climbing up. So when you first learn how to climb, find the rope that the grip is, and use chalk and refresh chalk every set you do. So what we're going to do is, man, it's getting hot as hell in here. I keep the door shut to keep the sound better, but man, this is not fun. So once you start climbing up, I'm going to climb, I'll climb the right way. So once we start climbing up, I'm going to go here, say come up, here, come up a little more, and then at that point, just release the feet slightly apart. Otherwise this will happen and it's kind of really awkward, so just release the feet slightly. Think of it as bicycle brakes. We squeeze it and then we release a little bit and slide down. So do 1 or 2 pulls, come down. 1 or 2 pulls, come down. 1 or 2 pulls, come down. 1 or 3, maybe 3 pulls, come down, but learn how to climb down fast rope and efficiently instead of just falling off the thing. There was a funny video a few years back, and it's like, I hold the record for the fastest rope climbing down. How you do it, I let go. Once you can climb up all the way to the top, pretty consistently, the next step is to work on efficiency. And by efficiency is, we're trying to get our hands and feet together as high as we can. So this way, with each pull, we get the maximum distance. Because at first, and I'm going to use my technique here, but a lot of times at first it's like here. And it's just kind of very little pulls are done. So what we want to do instead, we want to pull up the knees as high as we can. I'm going to use the technique I'm showing. So instead of just coming up to here, we want to try to get the knees way, way, way up high. And stand up. And this is 12 feet, but I can already tap at the top. And so start working on that efficiency. Try to get up as high as you can. And try to get up in, if normally it takes like 5 pulls, or however many, make it 4, make it 3, make it 2, make it 1. So like on 12 feet, it takes a lot of our guys just 1 pull. On 15 feet, it would take us normally about 2 pulls if we're about 6 foot or taller and can climb pretty well. And it's quick, it's easy, and saves your grip, saves your skin. One thing I want to show is just an added bonus for why I like my technique, where it's just, there's the S clamp, which is this guy, the S foot, works really well, and it's very solid. The one I do, it's more like that bicycle grip because it's just friction between my legs and my feet. But it does allow me to re-grip with both hands at once, and I think it's kind of cool. So we'll go like here, and then I can easily do this. I can actually move both hands at once. Now I can't stay here, but I can let go. And I thought that was kind of cool when I realized that that can be done. So it's pretty neat. Climb safe, climb efficient, and soar to the great heights.